Welcome to today's podcast.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us.
Today we'll explore these key vocabularies in depth: breadwinner, cashew, casserole, chop, cinnamon, and colander, with detailed definitions and rich examples to help you understand their usage. Breadwinner, noun. A breadwinner is the person who earns the primary income to support a household, often shouldering financial responsibilities alone.
As the sole breadwinner of her family, she worked double shifts every week to ensure they could pay the rent on time.
After his injury, he struggled to remain the family's breadwinner while attending physical therapy sessions for several months.
Many societies praise the traditional breadwinner role, but modern families often share financial duties between partners.
She became the breadwinner after starting her own tech consultancy, which quickly brought in higher earnings than her spouse's job.
In the novel, the mother takes on the breadwinner responsibilities during wartime, while her husband serves overseas.
He felt immense pressure being the family's breadwinner and worried constantly about meeting monthly mortgage payments.
When her partner lost his job, she stepped up as the new breadwinner and learned to budget every expense carefully.
Declaring himself the breadwinner allowed him to claim tax benefits, but also placed heavy expectations on his shoulders.
Millennials often reject the single breadwinner model, preferring dual-income households to share both work and home duties.
She earned a promotion that elevated her to the breadwinner position, transforming her family's quality of life almost overnight.
In many immigrant families, the eldest child becomes the breadwinner by working part-time alongside full-time study to support siblings.
His pride as the breadwinner sometimes blinded him to the emotional needs of his children at home.
After starting a lucrative online business, she proudly assumed the status of breadwinner, allowing her partner to pursue graduate school.
The documentary highlighted how single mothers often serve as both caregiver and breadwinner in challenging economic conditions.
He resented the stereotype of the male breadwinner until his wife's higher salary forced him to reevaluate traditional gender roles.
During the recession, many long-time breadwinners lost their jobs, prompting households to find alternative income sources.
As a self-employed breadwinner, she faced unpredictable monthly earnings but managed to build a substantial emergency fund.
He took night shifts to maintain his breadwinner status while completing his master's degree during the day.
The role of breadwinner can cause emotional strain when balancing career ambitions with family commitments.
Cashew, noun. A cashew is a kidney-shaped nut from the cashew tree, prized for its rich, buttery flavor and versatile culinary uses.
She roasted salted cashew in the oven until golden brown, creating a crunchy, savory snack perfect for movie night.
He ground raw cashew into a creamy paste to thicken his vegan curry sauce without adding dairy.
They folded chopped cashew into the Thai salad for an extra layer of texture and subtle nutty sweetness.
She simmered cashew butter and coconut milk together to craft a luxuriously smooth soup with deep flavor.
He sprinkled spicy chili lime cashew over the rice bowl to add both heat and satisfying crunch.
After soaking overnight, the raw cashew blended into a silky smoothie that tasted like vanilla ice cream.
She tossed candied cashew with rosemary and sea salt, then cooled them for a festive holiday treat.
They used roasted cashew to form the base of their granola bars, which held together perfectly when sliced.
He caramelized cashew in honey and cinnamon for a sweet topping on his morning yogurt parfait.
She crafted a rich vegan cheesecake by substituting cream cheese with blended cashew and lemon juice.
He chopped smoked cashew into his stir-fry to introduce an unexpected savory depth to classic vegetables.
They sprinkled toasted cashew on top of their coconut rice pudding for a decorative and crunchy garnish.
She pureed soaked cashew with garlic and lemon for a luxurious vegan garlic aioli dip.
He tossed cashew into his trail mix alongside dried fruits for a portable energy boost on hiking trips.
She folded honey-glazed cashew into her chocolate bark before it's set in the freezer for a gourmet confection.
He layered spicy, candied cashew in his salad for a delightful contrast to crisp greens and tart vinaigrette.
She molded cashew into small balls with dates and coconut for a nutrient-packed, no-bake snack.
They blended toasted cashew into their pesto recipe instead of pine nuts, creating a budget-friendly twist.
He drizzled almond oil and crushed cashew over the roasted carrots to add subtle complexity and texture.
Casserole, noun. A casserole is a dish of meat, vegetables, or other ingredients baked together in a deep dish, often topped with cheese or breadcrumbs.
She prepared a cheesy chicken and rice casserole in a large baking dish, layering flavors for a comforting family meal.
He mixed ground beef, tomato sauce, and pasta in a casserole dish before covering it with mozzarella and baking.
They assembled a vegetable casserole with zucchini, bell peppers, and onions, then sprinkled panko crumbs on top.
She stirred tuna, peas, and cream of mushroom soup into a tuna noodle casserole that fed the entire potluck.
He layered sliced potatoes and ham in a breakfast casserole before pouring egg mixture over everything.
She added leftover turkey and stuffing to a Thanksgiving casserole for a second-day feast that delighted everyone.
He baked a sweet potato and black bean casserole for a healthy, protein-packed vegetarian dinner.
She topped her shepherd's casserole with creamy mashed potatoes, then browned them until golden and crisp.
He mixed spinach, artichoke, and cheese into a hot casserole dip served with crusty bread.
She combined shrimp, cream sauce, and tarragon in a seafood casserole that tasted indulgent and elegant.
He reheated the leftover casserole in individual ramekins for easy single-serve portions.
She layered eggplant, ricotta, and tomato sauce in a lasagna-style casserole for a meatless Monday special.
He baked a cracker-topped wild rice casserole to add crunch and to elevate humble ingredients.
She assembled a breakfast casserole with sausage, cheese, and eggs for the weekend brunch crowd.
He experimented by adding spicy sausage to his standard macaroni and cheese casserole.
She poured creamy chicken and broccoli mixture into a casserole dish before topping with buttery breadcrumbs.
He gifted his neighbor a small dish of leftover casserole as a friendly gesture after the move.
She froze half of the portion in a casserole-safe container for busy weeknight dinners.
He used a non-stick casserole pan to make cleanup effortless after hosting a large gathering.
Chop, verb, noun. As a verb, chop means to cut food into pieces using repeated downward blows. As a noun, it can refer to a cut of meat.
She used a heavy cleaver to chop onions finely, releasing their pungent aroma across the kitchen.
He taught his son to chop vegetables safely with a sharp chef's knife and a sturdy cutting board.
They had to chop the herbs roughly for a rustic textured garnish on the stew.
She remembered to let her knife get sharp before attempting to chop dense root vegetables.
He struggled to chop through the thick pork loin until he switched to a meat cleaver.
She asked her roommate to chop garlic cloves into uniform pieces for more even cooking.
He learned to chop lettuce leaves into bite-sized strips for his green salads at home.
She loved to chop colorful bell peppers and onions for the fajita filling.
He demonstrated how to chop carrots on the bias to create elegant, elongated slices.
She used a food processor to chop nuts quickly for her cookie recipe.
He taught his cousin to chop fresh ginger into fine pieces without bruising it.
She asked the chef to chop bacon into small bits while making her omelet.
He practiced how to chop tomatoes without squashing them by using a gentle rocking motion.
She remembered to chop the parsley last to preserve its bright green color.
He tried to chop through a frozen roast but realized it needed to thaw first.
She valued being able to chop quickly and accurately as a key kitchen skill.
He corrected his technique when attempting to chop cilantro with a mezzaluna blade.
She placed her chop lightly on the board before slicing down with precision.
He discovered that learning to chop properly reduced the time needed for meal prep.
Cinnamon, noun. Cinnamon is a fragrant brown spice made from the inner bark of trees in the genus Cinnamomum, widely used in sweet and savory dishes.
She sprinkled ground cinnamon on her latte for a warm, aromatic finish that complemented the frothy milk.
He stirred a stick of cinnamon into his mulled wine to infuse it with sweet spicy notes during the holiday season.
They added a teaspoon of cinnamon to the oatmeal along with brown sugar and diced apples.
She baked snickerdoodle cookies dusted with cinnamon and sugar, creating a perfectly crisp coating.
He remembered to include cinnamon in his Moroccan tagine for that signature warming aroma and flavor.
She mixed cinnamon into her pancake batter for a subtle twist that elevated breakfast to a gourmet treat.
He sprinkled cinnamon on buttered toast for a quick and satisfying snack.
She grated fresh ginger and added cinnamon to the carrot soup for depth and warmth.
He infused his rice pudding with cinnamon sticks and vanilla pods for a comforting dessert.
She drank a teaspoon of raw cinnamon in tea as an herbal remedy believed to support metabolism.
He roasted butternut squash with a drizzle of olive oil, salt, and a dusting of cinnamon for a fall-inspired side.
She baked cinnamon rolls bright and early, filling the house with that unmistakable sweet scent.
He stirred cinnamon into his hot chocolate to add complexity and a hint of spice.
She mixed melted butter and cinnamon sugar to coat her churros before serving them hot.
He sprinkled a blend of nutmeg and cinnamon on roasted pumpkin seeds for a savory snack.
She crushed a cinnamon stick and ground it into her spice rub for grilled pork chops.
He added a pinch of cinnamon to his chili to introduce an unexpected warm note.
She stirred coconut milk with cinnamon and cardamom for a fragrant vegan chai latte.
He dusted cinnamon over baked pears for an elegant plated dessert.
Colander, noun. A colander is a bowl-shaped kitchen utensil with holes used for draining liquids from pasta, vegetables, or fruits.
She poured the cooked spaghetti into a large colander in the sink to strain off the boiling water quickly.
He rinsed harvested spinach in a colander to remove grit before tossing it into the salad spinner.
They used a fine mesh colander to drain yogurt when making thick Greek-style yogurt at home.
She placed frozen peas in a colander and ran cold water over them to defrost rapidly.
He drained canned chickpeas in the colander before adding them to his hummus recipe.
She lifted the colander bowl from the pot to let her boiled potatoes steam dry for the perfect mash.
He used the colander to rinse quinoa thoroughly, removing its bitter coating before cooking.
She dumped the blanched broccoli florets into the colander to cool under running water and preserve color.
He shook the colander gently to remove excess liquid from the sautéed mushrooms.
She lined the colander with cheesecloth to strain homemade ricotta cheese without losing curds.
He drained the cooked rice in the colander when his rice cooker malfunctioned mid-cycle.
She poured off the pickle brine through the colander to season fresh cucumbers quickly.
He strained fresh berries in the colander before folding them into his cake batter.
She used a plastic colander to wash strawberries under a gentle spray to avoid bruising them.
He held the colander over a bowl to catch the drained broth when making vegetable stock.
She stacked bowls inside each other, placing a colander on top to save space in the cabinet.
He rinsed tofu cubes in the colander before pressing them to remove excess water.
She placed the cooked gnocchi in the colander and gently shook to drain evenly.
He bought a foldable silicone colander that locked onto the pot for hands-free draining.
That concludes our detailed journey through 6 essential words, each brought to life with 20 rich examples.
We hope these vivid illustrations help you feel confident using breadwinner, cashew, casserole, chop, cinnamon, and colander in your daily conversations and culinary adventures.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. Join us next time for more vocabulary insights.
Goodbye and happy learning.